in an era now, Macy, where you can't. Most public figures are too terrified to even say what they think a woman is.
I know.
I mean, if I asked you what a woman is, what would you say?
I would say a human being with boobs. You have to start there.
Yeah, I mean, the dictionary is quite straightforward. It just says a human adult female, right?
No, a lot of people. Yeah, see, that's a little getting confusing. The whole he, she, they. That's gonna.
And I'm not sure why. Really, it's a bit like this whole issue of transgenders in sport. It's like I support all trans rights to fairness and equality.
Me too.
But not where you have people born to obvious physical superior bodies.
Me too.
Transitioning and then thrashing the women at their sport.
I totally agree. And I will say this, and everybody's going to hate me, but as a woman, just because you go change your parts doesn't make you a woman.
Right.
Sorry.
You feel that?
I know that for a fact. Like, if you want me to call you a her, I will, because that's what you want. But that doesn't make you a woman just because I call you a her and just because you got a surgery.
Because people do feel that there's biological sex and then there's gender identity, that you can identify as whatever you like
in terms of a gender,
right? That's the freedom we live in.
Absolutely.
But actually, you can't change the mechanics of biological sex. They are what they are.
Well, just women go through just a completely unique experience, and surgery or finding yourself doesn't change that. Being a little girl is a whole epic book, and you can't have that just because you want to be a woman.
I mean, that when people like J.K. Rowling have said this, they get attacked, they get abused.
Yeah.
The cancel culture mob comes from me. She gets called transphobic and so on. You might get the same for saying it.
But it's the truth. And I don't think you should be called transphobic just because you don't agree with, there's a lot of, judgment and throwing, stones at people for just saying what it is. You know what I mean?
After this interview aired, Macy Gray took to social media to post her response to the negative feedback. And Flame Monroe, a comedian, came to her aid and defended her response on Piers Morgan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is comedian Flame Monroe. I am a transgender woman or person, however you describe it, and this message is directly for Macy Gray. Macy Gray, I want to tell you, out the words of my mouth from my portion of the LGBTQIA+ community, that I wholeheartedly support you and thank you for seeing the real world for what it is. I do not believe that you are transphobic or homophobic or any other kind of phobic. I believe that you know science and biology, because here are the three things. Gender is a fact, identity is how you feel, and sexuality is your desire. And you are absolutely right, because until you have the heart and mind of a woman, I don't believe that you could ever possibly be a biological woman. Trans women are trans women. Trans men are trans men. Women are women and men are men. It is as simple as that. There shouldn't be any argument about this, because
a bit of background on me is that I'm a Black woman. And when I went to college from Chicago, freshly off the bus from Chicago, the first group of people to befriend me were those who were within the LGBT community. Now, they were very supportive, very inclusive, and it was to the extent that I was a champion of their fights and their rights. So much so that I ignored the plight in obtaining the knowledge that I needed for myself as a Black woman. So I put what they were going through at the forefront, and my plight was put to the side, to the back burner. And so as I've grown and I've learned, I've come to the conclusion that while I agree that nobody should be discriminated against, I agree that people should be allowed to call themselves whatever they want to, there is a biological difference between a transgendered woman and a biological woman. If you have to go through the extent of getting procedures and surgeries and treatments and counseling to be somebody that I'm already, then there's a difference. I don't consider that a flex. I don't consider that to be a plus. It's just that there's a difference. If you want to change yourself and you want to go through all of this, that's fine. I have no problem with that. That's your money, that's your body. What I'm finding to be very problematic is that transgendered women and just people from the LGBT community aren't as inclusive as they portray themselves to be. What I'm finding is that more people from that community actually want dominance. And the problem with that, especially for me as a Black woman, we were brought to this country and considered not even human. We were then considered 3/4 of a person, which is still not an entire person. Black women are being killed every 5.5 hours, and our plights aren't reaching mainstream media. Our plights aren't being covered as extensively as other people. So when you say that you're the same as me and your plight is not the same, and you culturally appropriate my culture, it's a rift in between Black women and the people within this community. And oftentimes I don't feel supported from people of this community. I feel used. You want me to fight for you while you don't fight for me. And I also feel a rift from the Black man who transitioned, because it doesn't seem as though they believe that they are Black women. They believe that they are better than Black women. And I'm going to show this clip to prove it.
There is a very fragile symbiotic relationship between Black gay men and Black women. Black women were definitely the blueprint. All right. The Black gays have come along and taken that blueprint and have become trendsetters with it. You can't deny that in recent years, a lot of the trends that have been adopted by women have been set by the gays. Although the gays got the fashion game from the women, they perfected it. They've taken it to the next level and are now in turn, y'all gonna beat me up for this, but reteaching y'all how to even be better at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the gays have redefined femininity. You know what I'm saying? And I know it sucks, and a lot of women are gonna get upset with that, but it is they have.
So the gays have redefined femininity, and they've also taken that blueprint, which is Black women, and transformed it into something that's bigger and better. He didn't say better, but he did say bigger. And the issue with this is that while you were being inclusive and loving and helping to another group of people who were in need, you were erasing yourself and your plight. And in doing so, now you have uncentered yourself and you've allowed yourself to be erased. And I know I feel that way as a woman, and as a woman who had Black woman who participated in pride events and just centering their plight and fighting for their rights. Let's get something straight. I don't believe anybody should be discriminated against. I don't believe anybody should be hated or killed for what they believe, how they want to transition their body, and what they want to now go by. I think that's someone's prerogative. I believe that there is hatred in taking away and erasing a group of women, and I'm talking about Black women's contribution to not just being women, but being Black women, seeing that we were vulnerable, and then saying, yeah, we're better than you. We were able to take what you did and make it better, because you were only allowed to do that because we welcomed you in our space. And at this point, it's like you spit in our face, and now you're boasting about that. And I take that to be very disrespectful, because I came at you in love, but you came back at me in hate. Get in the comment section. Tell me how you guys feel about this. I want to hear everybody's opinions. Thank you for watching.